rid of that 20. There we go. Hairbrush right here. Perfect. I didn't realize it would look that bad. There we go. That's much better. So yes, I am live at a random time on a Wednesday evening because why not? Yeah, actually, it's been, for those of you watching in the future, today is Wednesday, the 28th, I think, something like that. I made an order of stuff, which it's gonna be expensive, very expensive. It was expensive, but it's worth it. Absolutely worth it for what I'm doing in the future. Definitely worth it, and I don't have to worry about anything else really in the future at this point because I've done everything else. So hopefully this will all work out, and it should. Like honestly, it's pretty well documented stuff, so it's working fantastically. But yesterday though, I'll backtrack to yesterday. I was, hey, old school, how's it going? Definitely appreciate you coming on the live stream. Yesterday I went back out to Edmonton again. Oh, Salty Stang, hey, how's it going? Definitely appreciate you coming on the live stream. And my buddy Michael is in the chat. Sweet. Definitely appreciate you all coming out. It's awesome getting 3 people right away. It usually takes a little bit, so. I did see that actually, which is just like finally, I thought they were gonna lose that game. Like I thought that the Leafs were going to beat, or that they were going to be beaten by the Blackhawks. I did watch that game because I was curious, and finally they have a win. So hopefully now, for the Leafs anyways' sake, that they can start playing good again, and because that wasn't a terrible game, but you'd think that they would have played that better. Though, to be honest, especially with who they were versing at the time, which is like the Chicago Blackhawks, that are like the second worst team in the league currently. But yeah. Sorry, a little hockey stuff there. But yeah, so I was in Edmonton yesterday. We were working on the car, gave it a full tune-up, new cap, rotor, new spark plugs again, because, hey, guess what? They were fouled yet again. I could have cleaned them up and put it back in, but Roy just decided, you know what, here's some NGKs for you. He bought them for me, and it was fantastic, and then he bought me a new cap and rotor as well. It was really kind of him, and I definitely appreciate it. But now, what I have coming in, is, and I'll explain this as well in my next video, but you guys will probably watch that anyways as well, so it doesn't really matter. I'm doing it here. Because I'll probably be out Friday, I want to say. Is I have 2 parts coming in. One slightly expensive, but not too bad. The other one kind of really expensive, but worth it. Both worth it. The first one that's coming in Tuesday is a Super SL coil, which honestly, fantastic coils. Better than the stock one by far, and yeah, you know what? A worthy upgrade for the car, and plus the original coil on the car could be, upgraded, right? So why not? The original coil still works, but let's do that, make it all work out, and so I'm going to, right? And I wanted to upgrade the coil for a while, but just haven't ordered one yet. And actually, I need to do this and do that. There we go. Not really anything, because if I try and take it out, I will probably snap it, because 9 times out of 10, a seized distributor, you do break them. So we're just going to leave it for now, but to be honest, the timing is fine. Like, current timing at the moment is at 10 degrees, which is perfect, honestly. Like, 12 degrees would be absolutely optimum, but 10 degrees is well within range and it's totally fine. And that's 10 degrees, advanced timing, initial. Anyways, we can't do anything about the vacuum one because, again, distributor's kind of seized into the block. But it works. and just gonna keep going with that until that distributor doesn't work anymore, I think, or I get a bunch of money and then just decide, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna do it. Well, if you let me get to what I was going to say before, I've got a double roller timing chain set coming in with adjustable timing on the gears themselves, so no worries there. And yeah, so and like we had a timing gun on it and everything for the 10 degrees, but now I have the double roller timing set coming in, so that'll totally eliminate that. That's coming in about 10 days approximately. That was very expensive. Well worth it, but very expensive. So yeah, no worries at all when it comes to the timing chain wear because it's gonna be replaced, and with the gears and everything. So, probably won't go to Edmonton for that one. Probably do it here, and then I kind of want to experiment with this a little bit because the thing is, Roy said that he might come down to fix any other issues with my car in the future, like help me with them if I need it. And for this one, I probably will because I don't have a pulley puller. Not really. No, it hasn't really been that cold, to be honest. Like, last night, it was a little nippy, but it wasn't even that bad. I mean, it was still probably 5-6 degrees, so it's totally fine. Haven't really had snow yet. They're calling for snow on Friday here in Sundre, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't want it to snow. No, I came back last night. I got back here just after midnight. I left at like 9:30-ish, so... Well, yeah. Yeah, and might do that. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. I'm so broke after this, believe me. Even a little $5 or $10 deal right now is actually a lot of money to me at the moment. Because I have like my bank account right now. If you saw it, you would be sad. And then if you saw my credit card too, it's not pretty. But after this, after all of this, it's going to be done. There's going to be nothing else. And, any other upgrades, not really going to do. So, it's okay, honey. Don't worry about it. I definitely appreciate it. And hi, Forgotten Fox Buddy. How's it hanging? Definitely appreciate you coming on to the live stream. Don't think I've seen you on the channel before, so definitely appreciate you coming out. And Old School is totally okay. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay. I get paid on Monday anyways, but it's like, you're a new sub. Okay. Did you actually, just out of curiosity, did you subscribe today after the last video that I posted, which is the Junkyard Tour video? I'm just curious, that's all, because I always like to see where people came from. When they subscribed and all that different stuff. When I can, because, some people I know they've been on my channel forever, Oh, okay, like 2 days ago. So that would have been... okay, cool. Cool, yeah. I'm trying to think what video I had a couple days ago, which I don't think I had a full video 2 days ago, come to think of it. I think it's all just been short videos and stuff I've been doing lately. I don't have very many full-length videos as of late, but I do have another update coming, probably Friday, so I'm happy for that. Yeah, so... Oh, the new exhaust! Okay, yeah, okay. Sweet. Yeah, no, I honestly, and I love the sound that it makes, and it's so funny, because, like, people are saying, well, like, this guy, he was just so... dense is the best word I can say about him, because he kept asking me the same questions over and over and over again. It's just like, why go from a Y pipe to a H pipe, and stuff like that. And all I told him was like, the H pipe I got for free, and without it, and so it's a free dual exhaust, and just getting a Y pipe made. Like, what's the big deal there? I want a dual exhaust, And for what I have planned for the future, that H-pipe will work perfectly with the dual exhaust header that I'm going to get. So, you know, it's a fantastic little thing for now. Is it way too much for the car currently? Absolutely. But it sounds fantastic. And the best part is that entire exhaust system, I have, I think, $400 into. That's it. It's not bad. Now, I still need tailpipes, so that's going to be another probably 140-ish, maybe, depending. Because I'll probably have to get them custom bent, to be honest, and made. That's okay. Ooh, nice. That'll be nice in your Fox body for sure. Parts are getting expensive, yeah, definitely. You know, and when I was explaining to this guy as well is without an H pipe on the car, to be honest, they don't have as baritone of a noise as what mine does, right? I have a very unique sound because I have that H pipe, right? And it sounds just badass. So yeah, all these people with the the Coyote swaps. Which Coyote 5-liter badass motor, honestly. Like very fun. I've had some experience with the Coyote, never working on one, but driving one. Oh, come on. You say nerds, but you drive what is probably just as complicated, excluding electronics, as they do. You have a Lincoln Mark 8, for God's sakes. But yeah, no. And actually, for those wondering, Michael, he's a good friend of mine. We've known each other for a couple of years now. Oddly enough, the day that we met was actually at Peter's Drive-In, and we installed a headliner in my car at in the parking lot. It was fantastic. Old school. I mean, well, technically, okay. Technically, I don't own the Honda, so there's that. But I will probably end up owning it in the future if that's any consolation. And yeah, that was a fantastic day, honestly. I love that. And all the looks we were getting to installing this headliner was fantastic. And by the way, my dome light still doesn't work. You know, that was literally. And I still haven't put on the passenger side sun visor yet. It's just so funny. And yeah, because in our stable of vehicles here, because it's technically my dad's, but I'll end up owning it at some point, I'm sure, because he's gonna get bored of it. That I do know. But is a 1970 Honda Civic that's been sitting since May of '95, and did get it running on the channel, but that's about as far as we got. Didn't really do anything else to it. Bought a bunch of parts and then just sat for a couple months, and so now it's at the mechanic shop, and I still don't know if he has it in there yet. Oh, I wasn't going to order sun visors. The thing is, with my car, any interior bits that I want have to be custom made if it's the original color, because I have the pewter interior. It's a 1-year only color. And it's nobody makes it reproduction. So you'd have to go to an upholstery shop and get stuff custom made. I have my original sun visors, so it's totally fine there. The seats, what I'm gonna do, because everything red in the interior is getting deleted, because I have a red headliner currently, I have a red carpet, and I have the red seats. Those are gonna get deleted, and it's gonna go all blue, except for the seats are going to be out of a Shelby Charger. Out of a Shelby Charger, basically, and See, and it's funny how many people hate red interiors in Fox bodies. To be honest, I don't mind it. Like, I had an '86 Mustang convertible that I owned it for a few months. I loved that car. The red interior was fine. Seats weren't as comfortable as they could have been, but they were a little wore out, to be honest. And the car did have like 195,000 kilometers on it, so there's that. I put on, I think, like 3 or 4 thousand kilometers me owning it in the short, about 5 month span that I owned that car. I loved it. I drove it everywhere. I took it to Medicine Hat. I took it to Calgary. I never took it up to Edmonton though, and I wish I did, but that's okay. I miss that car though. I do. It was an '86 3.8 V6 car. I got rid of it because the motor was just hurt. And now, technically, I could have, and it would have taken a lot of work, but I could have did this. I had a 3.8 motor. No, just to the junkyard. She didn't come with me to Edmonton. I did that journey on my own. I would have potentially taken her, but she doesn't live here in town. She lives out in Cochrane, which is about an hour south of me. So, but I mean, she may have enjoyed herself up there, to be honest. But no, she wasn't with me. With the updates, you probably would have seen her in some of my shorts too. So she's a cool chick though. Owns a Ford Ranger, and when we went to the junkyard, she found, because the thing is, she was pulling parts out of other cars. Like she started to find a blower motor. Because her blower motor just wasn't working right. So okay, fine. Like, just wasn't putting out as much CFM. So she pulls one out of a modern Ranger in the junkyard, and I'm just searching on the junkyard a little more because I'm doing my full kind of walk around, and I see, oh look, there's a couple of Bronco 2s, and there's actually about her vintage of Ranger in the junkyard. So I pointed those out to her, and then I also told her, hey, that Bronco 2 has a cool wooden panel dash type idea. So she pulled that out, and it cost her $10. So worth the money, right? And I'm not sure she has it in her car yet, but after she bought the 2 blower motors, because she pulled one out of the Ranger as well, the other Ranger, and the dash round, she found out that the blower motor in her Ranger actually works just fine. It just needed to be cleaned. So after she pulled it and just a little bit, and hey, look, it's working just fine. So now she has backup blower motors if she needs it. So that's cool. And yeah, like she's very cool and very kind, and she's gonna have a YouTube channel. She just hasn't figured out what she's gonna call it yet, and I will shout her out once it's out there. It's not gonna be automotive related. She's gonna be doing stuff with like nature and stuff, and I'll definitely plug her channel 100% because she's an awesome girl. And a good friend of mine. And it's interesting because with her, she's how I met her. She's been a fan of my YouTube channel for a while, like a few months. We finally met at the Cremona car show, but it was only like a 5-minute conversation. And then, yeah, she had to leave, and that was totally fine. But then I convinced her finally to come out to one of our car meets here in Sundre. And, it's about a 50-ish minute drive to here from where she is, but she absolutely loved it. And what I learned later, that was her first car meet. So I convinced her to come out to her first car meet, and she absolutely loved it. And she's been at a couple since as well. Yeah. So she's a huge fan. Like, she was saying that she was fangirling at me at the car meet, and then when we talk and like when I mention how awesome she is, she her heart's kind of like squeals is what she says. So it's pretty neat, honestly, to have a fan like that that's a friend too. Because and that's the thing, like, don't get me wrong, I love the comments and everything that you guys make, but I don't always know, like, I will see your stuff, right? But most of you I've never met and probably won't ever meet. So yeah, so to have that in, to feel that in person is really awesome, truthfully. And I don't think I can convert her to a classic JDM because she owns two Fords. One was a gift from her boyfriend, which is she actually doesn't know what year it is. Like she is kind of green to the car hobby, like very green. So it's either a 78 or 79. I think it's a 78. I have seen it, but it had like the whole front end was blown off the car. But yeah, it's pretty sweet, that Bronco. And, those are my favorite Broncos, too. That 78, 79. It's 2-year only of the full-size Bronco before they went to the design change in 1980 and then split the two Broncos. They had the Bronco 2, and then they had the, and the regular full-size Bronco, but it was the new body style in 1980. So, yeah, you did, but that's an easier conversion, I think, going from, say, German to JDM, because they are, don't get me wrong, they're a lot different, but they're also much more similar, as opposed from going from American vehicles to JDM, right? It's a big jump that way. It's not as big of a jump from European, though, I don't think. Just because they're typically, depending on what it is, like an E30 is actually a fairly reliable vehicle. Um, Wait, I thought you went from the Fox body to your Mark 7. Well, or Mark 8, I guess. And I guess that is the MN12 platform. So yeah, okay, yeah. Because I didn't know you when you had the Fox body. Sadly, I only knew you when you had your Mark 8. Because knowing you when you had your Fox body, that would have been interesting. But then again, you owned your Fox body a long time ago, and that was a completely different person back then too. So I'm not sure if we would have gelled back then. We do now, but okay. Oddly enough, actually, something that's in Bucks, because you saw that video. Because you like, I'm assuming, yeah. Did you watch the full thing? Because that T-Bird in the junkyard. Oh my god. I was just like, why is this in here? Like, I know why it's in here, but why is this in here? I would have loved that car. 3/4? Okay. You probably would have seen that T-Bird then in there, I think. It's about an 84, I want to say, T-Bird. It's the 4i Fox body T-Bird. And it's just 5-liter car too. Interior is like mint. Although the passenger side glass is busted out. But the problem was there was either electrical or engine fire. Hey, JC Motive. Definitely appreciate you coming out to the live stream. I'm doing fairly fantastic, actually. Just decided, hey, gonna do a live stream because I can. But yeah, yeah. How are you doing? Hope you're doing fabulous as well. I think it was a column shift car, actually. I bet it was. That's cool. That's really cool. I've never seen a Celine in that vintage. Definitely 83. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, like I'm trying to remember if it was column shift or if it was console. I think it was column shift though, but it was a 5-liter car. And now there was only 2 of the wheels there, but the rims it had were dope. And if the full set was there, they were coming home with me. But unfortunately, there was only 2. So, oh well. It is what it is. I don't know what I would have did with a set of wheels, but I would have found some use for them, just like my CSAs that I'm still trying to sell. And I might just end up those CSAs at some point. Might just end up being my winter rims, to be honest. 79 Gia with 302. That's cool. And 79s were weird because they had the door handles on the bottom part of the door. Walmart. You've seen my house. Where am I supposed to hang rims in my house? But I was gonna say, crap. What was I gonna say? Hang on, I need to see the chat again. Do that. Oh, fastest car. The fastest car okay, I need to move that back down. There we go. Anyway, so the fastest car I've ever driven. Well, it's got to be between Cody's 2020 California Special with the Coyote and the 10-speed in it, or Julie's 2014 Mustang GT with the Coyote in it, and has the intake, Gen 3 intake on it, because that's technically a Gen 2 Coyote, and hers is an automatic as well, but I think that's the 6-speed automatic. But hers is tuned a little bit too, and the thing is, like, when I drove Cody's car, it was a lot of fun. But her car just snaps you back really quick. She has a much better throttle response too on her car. Like, his car is amazing, don't get me wrong. But her car just, my heart was pounding driving her car. So, and I didn't drive it very far. I drove it, like, I think 10 blocks total. But still, it was so much fun. I'd love to do a full video on her car too, but she's probably gonna have it parked pretty soon for. Oh, you had the TRXs, yeah. They were such a ugly wheel, I think, in my opinion. And the Trx tires were dreadful. They did not give you good traction at all. And yeah, it was just kind of like a waste. I don't know why they did that. And they stuck with it for so long. Like, they used that rim and tire combination for, like, what was it, 7 years? It was just stupid. But yeah, it's definitely much different between a 6 and a 10-speed. But to be fair, I did not drive his car in track mode, though. So there is that. I just had it in the normal mode when I drove it. I could have changed it to track mode, but I didn't. And I wasn't manually shifting his car either. Not that I was manually shifting hers. But, you know. And hey, oddly enough, now, okay, so once the timing chain is on, the new timing chain set, and the new coil, I'm going to do another test of my performance test, because actually, something really cool, I am very close to the baseline I had when I deleted the EGR the first time, which was just a fluke that it ran as good as it did, and afterwards it did not run good at all. And manually shifting it too, I've gotten my fastest 0 to 60 time of the car ever, of 15 seconds flat, which is cool. Slowest car I've ever driven is my Mustang. Add bar none, my Mustang is the slowest car I've ever driven. And though the quarter mile time was 20.3, so that's pretty good. I haven't driven the Civic. Gotta remember, it has no brakes. I've never driven it. And what? Oh, come on. My Mustang is slow as dirt. Michael, you've been in... Actually, no, sorry. You were in my convertible, that's right. Which my convertible is technically... No, sorry. I will correct myself. My convertible was slower than Stitch. Not by much, though. But it was slower. So I will say that. Because that thing, I think it did like a 21-second quarter mile. It was bad. It was bad. Like, but, hey, a 3.8 that was burning oil and had a washed out cylinder, and, you know, with the AOD tranny and everything, and the car weighed just over 3,000 pounds. Oh, it did do burnouts, which I don't understand. Like, why can't my car do a burnout, but my convertible could? It's actually driving me bananas with that. I know why, but why? Because I don't understand. It's down to my torque converter at this point. Because that's the only thing. Like, I've replaced the carburetor now. So, you know, it's got the good CFM and everything through it. Good amount of fuel. No vacuum leaks or anything like that. So, I don't know. Like, because my car, it'll only, you have your foot on the brake and you mash the gas, it only goes to 1800 RPM, which is not enough RPM to do a burnout. It's just not. So, at least not with the kind of power I'm making. So, I don't know. It's weird. But yet, on Lilo, I could, or I can go as high as I wanted in the rev range. So, it's kind of weird. And you'd think that the AOD would have that issue, not my C4. And to be honest, I'd love to do a burnout video, but I don't really have a car that can do a burnout right now. The only way how I could do a burnout in my car currently is if I chained it to a big truck or a tree or something. Then it would do a burnout. You go pay for the new tranny. Hey, Teen Mechanic, how's it going? Definitely appreciate you coming out of the live stream. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna neutral drop my car. I've done that once, and I felt really bad doing it, and it didn't even squawk the tire when I neutral dropped it. How sad is that? The only time I've heard my tire squawk is anytime I've gone, like, if I'm mashing the gas on gravel or dirt, and then go onto the road, it will squawk then. That's it. It's just freaking sad, man. But, you know, it's all good. I swear, Teen Mechanics Ltd would outrun my car. I swear to God. That's pretty sad. Because, for reference, he has an 82 Ltd that has a 351 Windsor in it. And he has put a new cam in it, but... Really? Why? Why does it do that, I wonder? I mean, if it stalls out with that, I'm assuming... Well, question. Is it flooding the... Yeah, it is bogging. His car or mine? Mine has a C4 automatic. His, I'm not sure what he has. For a tranny. It's I'm gonna assume he has a C4, but in an LTD, but it might be a C6. Okay, your carburetor. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. That does make sense. An AOD variant. Oh, because it has the overdrive in it. So, what you essentially have, if I remember correctly, is a C4 with an overdrive inside. I believe that's what that is, and then they changed it entirely for the AOD. Still a similar design with the AOD, but much different. They just wanted kind of an overdrive, and that's all they had with the C4 at the time. I think that's probably what you have. I could be wrong though. But yeah. And yeah, on Saturday actually, I'm gonna be back at Bucks again because seeing my old car in there, I am gonna pull one thing out of it, but I'm not even gonna keep the part. That's the funny part. I'm just gonna pull it out. The rear glass. I've been looking for a rear glass for a notchback for months. Now, the thing is, the rear glass, all that I'm going to be using it for is sending it to my buddy Greg Henry in Calgary, and he is going to, well, I say my buddy, I mean, we're I don't know if we're quite friends, but, you know, we've met on a few occasions. Anyways, I'm gonna pull the rear glass because send it to him, and he's gonna make me metal louvers for my car. So that'll be fantastic. I'm sick and tired of these plastic ones, to be honest. And hey, I definitely appreciate you coming out to the live stream, Michael. Hope you have a wonderful sleep, and I will catch you later. Okay, so for you to do a burnout, you had to change the rear gear ratio, but that doesn't explain though why my car doesn't rev up though, because the rear gear ratio wouldn't do that. That would be within the torque converter, I think. Because my car literally, it'll go to 1800 RPM. That's it. Won't go any higher than that. Don't get me wrong. I have plans to put in like an 8.8 with 373s, and then go to a manual transmission. But okay, okay, I'm. I promise you, nobody can get in behind the wheel of that thing and do a burnout. I promise you that. The only time they could is you chain it to a tree or to a big ass truck or something like that. Then sure, it'll probably do a burnout. In fact, I would guarantee at that point it will spin the tire. But until then. Because yeah, like, and honestly, once I do the manual swap in the car, like a T5, it'll do burnouts all day long with that. And put the new rear gear ratio. Now, I haven't tried though, because something I do want to try, and who knows, this might be the way that does a burnout. Find a wooden bridge and do a burnout on it might be the way to do it. Or even just find some 2x4s around and put it on my rear tires and see if it'll spin. I don't have any ball tires though, that's the problem. All the tires even my burnout tires that I have currently actually have like a really good amount of tread. They're just dry rotted, and that's why they're burnout tires. But I don't even know if ball tires would either, to be honest. But yeah, it'll spin the tire just fine. You have to slowly mash the gas. Well, see, I thought. Oh no, I guess as I said, you haven't rebuilt the carb in that one yet, have you? Because you rebuilt it in the Monaco. That's what it was. Hey, no worries, JC Motive. I definitely appreciate you coming out to the live stream. Take care. Good night. Okay, you have. So, okay, trying to think. Is there any? Have you checked for any vacuum leaks with that regarding the bogging? And if not, then your jets are probably too much, and you have to rejet the carb. Well, isn't it an Autolite 2100? Actually, question for you as well. Do you know the Venturi size of your carburetor? Because with the Venturi size, I could figure out what size your carb is. And granted, no, you don't. Okay. Yeah, it's on. I can't remember where it is. It's on. That's fair. It should be stamped if it's a proper Motorcraft carburetor or Autolite. Doesn't matter which one. Is there should be a stamp on it. It's about that big, and in the middle it'll say, like mine is a 1.08, which equals 375 CFM. Which works for my setup. Okay, it is? Okay. Yeah, you should have the stamping on the side of the carburetor, and it should tell you. It's a little circle about that big. So. I mean, to be honest, that motor needs a 4-barrel. It definitely needs a 4-barrel. Because yeah, I mean 600 CFM, yeah, 600 CFM 4-barrel would be great. Honestly, you know, my little Holly, which I still have, which I still haven't sent out to the that'd work too pretty well actually. Um, but hey, if you want to do burnouts, yeah, you would need a new intake, but it's worth it, absolutely worth it. But hey, if you want to do a burnout the easiest, your Eldorado probably does wicked burnouts. With a 500 caddy in it. Being a pre-smogger motor too. I wouldn't be shocked if that thing actually does pretty good burnouts. When it's running perfectly. Even though, like, yeah, the, even though the motor's, like, right on top of the axle there for the front wheels. But I have seen Eldorados do pretty good burnouts, actually. And it's just because of the raw torque that they have. Hey, I'm just saying, you do a Cadillac Eldorado burnout video, I'm sure it'd actually do quite well on YouTube. Everybody loves a burnout video. Oh, I mean, that's fair. That's fair. And with the distributor, because Fords have this issue, they are very prone to seizing in the block. And they'll still work just fine, but you cannot take it out without snapping it most times. Because what really happens is just like over time, and it's just not serviced as well, and is honestly moisture and stuff like that just gets in where it's mounted to, and it just seizes right there. I've seen people use air hammers and stuff like that to get them out, but even then, still, the housing itself is what's seized. Because the gearing and everything inside is fine, but it's the housing. And it's just, the right amount of moisture and stuff like that just makes it happen. And Fords have had that issue for a long time, to be honest. You can go back to the flathead V8s. I think they were the first Ford motor to have that issue that was common, and then it just kept going from there. Just about every single one. Whenever you find an old Ford motor, don't be shocked if the distributor is seized in the block, because it's just very common. When you get one that's not, it's usually because people just oiled it. Because they know. But, when I got my car, I didn't know about that, but to be honest, it's after 10 years, so. Yeah, see, and I'm not surprised that it was. Again, Ford motor. Yeah, see, you got it out without breaking it, didn't you? Which is uncommon. Usually you snap them when you get them out. Because, like, yeah, I would like to take my distributor out, but yeah, nice. Hey, Jesse, how's it going? Definitely appreciate you coming on the live stream. Well, thank you. I like doing them, but I haven't done a proper junkyard tour video that's in an actual junkyard before. Because technically my 2 other videos are at Greg's property, which is a junkyard kind of, but it's not a junkyard like you see there. And those videos that I filmed back then, they weren't as professional as they are now. They had 2 Bronco 2s in there. There was an early one, and then there was a late one. I noticed that, which is pretty cool. You know, and actually, the wooden dash that was in the that was in the, that would have been the later one. My friend Nat took the wooden dash out of that, and she's gonna put it in her what you call it? Put it in her Ranger. So. See, you say that, but I actually like Chryslers, and to be honest, though, I don't care who makes it. Every modern car is not exactly that fantastic, and it's true. They all have their issues nowadays. Compared to back in the day, where okay, yeah, you knew the issue, but it wasn't gonna break the car. Like a lot of things do break the cars nowadays. Hey, the stuff that Fiat doesn't touch is honestly not as bad. What about Kia? I mean, to be honest, like there are some Kias that are not great. There's some other Kias that are actually pretty good. It just depends. They did. Like early Kias were junk. They were horrible cars. Just like early Hyundais were not good either. But to be honest, Hyundai has been around as a company a lot longer than Kia has. But you know, you get an early Kia, and yeah, they were not great. They were not great cars. They had horrible reliability statistics and everything like that. But then, honestly, they got a lot better. They've dipped back a bit, but to be honest, every new car has dipped back a bit too. Every company, and yeah. Um. Hmm. Will that Buick be worth? Did you fix the coolant issue in it? Because if it still has that issue, it's not worth much. But if you fix that issue, because even with a couple of foibles, people can deal with that. Okay, if it was mechanically sound, but it still has all the electrical gremlins in it, maybe $700, $800. That's what I want to say. And actually, okay, early Hondas actually, um, early Hondas weren't as reliable as people think they were. It wasn't until the Civic came out that they were better, and the CVCC was not a great motor. They had their issues, to be honest. It's not if, it's when they started having issues. But also that weird carburetor that they had, I think, caused a lot of that too. Because the CVCCs had this weird carburetor, which was, oh, nice goal, was essentially two different carburetors combined into one. It was a 3-barrel carburetor that you could tune, because for it to work correctly, you had to run one side rich and one side lean, which blows my mind. Of like, why did they do this? It makes no sense to me whatsoever why they did that. And they are a fairly complicated engine too with the CVCC compared to my little 1200. It's very reliable and you can beat the crap out of it and it's totally fine. But CVCC, I've heard they're not as good. But Toyotas that I'm aware of are actually very reliable, and they have been for a long time. Although the modern ones aren't near as reliable as they used to be, but that happens. Like I said, everybody's taking a dip in reliability with every year as goes on now because they're just not as as good anymore. And it's sad. Too much technology in the cars that make them just not as good. When stuff was simpler, it was a lot easier to engineer the cars. Oh, sweet! That'll be awesome. And no, I did not watch the barn hunter video thing that you sent me. Not yet. I've been busy. Apologize. I don't look at everything, like all the videos you send me. I've seen a few of them, but even then, I can't always watch the entire videos either. There's that. There definitely is that. With the planned obsolescence. And I mean, it is true, because, you know, back in the day, like, you take my car, for example, is, parts were designed back then to last as long as they could. And the interesting part, though, is, like, okay, so, like, with my car, okay, you can look at my car, and the tie rods on the passenger side had to be replaced when I did the out of province. But the tie rods on the driver's side didn't, and they're still good to this day. And they're still the original tie rods from 1981 on the driver's side. The ball joints finally had to be replaced on both sides, I believe. Yeah, they did. And yeah, but nowadays though, is parts are designed to wear out at the same time. So for example, the like, take my dad's Magnum, and because it has these issues too. Okay, so when the front suspension decides to go, like, decides to wear out. Actually, I want to say that when the timing belt needs to be changed on those 3.5s, which is around 160,000 kilometers on them. The thing is, when you're about to do the timing belt, oh, guess what? Your front suspension is going to need to be replaced, because they all do it at about the same time. The entire front suspension, just about, excluding the coils. And it's ridiculous. The brakes will have to be done at that point too. And, you know, shocks, and it's just, it's bad. Like, basically, once you do a time belt, it's taking time bomb of, okay, this thing's going to cost you about $5,000 in the next couple of years, if you don't do it all yourself. They're really bad for that. And any of the Chrysler LX platform will do that too. And now to catch back up on the comments, because I was in the middle of talking and you guys kept typing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there's that too, definitely. There was more pride of stuff being made. And what's interesting, though, it's like, okay, even, well, for example, my plug wires, I didn't need to change in my car when I bought it, but I did anyways. And I regret doing that, and I threw out the old plug wires, and I wish I didn't. I should have just kept them. Because, hey, guess what? The new plug wires that I got 2 years ago are starting to get stiff. Which is ridiculous. Like, yes, I did not pay very much for those plug wires. I know that. They were on clearance at Rock Auto. They were like $23 for the entire set. But still, like, come on. Really? They should not be already going. Not at this point. Because regular price on them was like $50, so. But, because what I want to do with the car, the next upgrades after the timing, the double roller timing set, and the coil, is I do want to swap out the ignition box for like an MSD box. Which at the same time, I would replace the plug wires, which I'll probably go with like an MSD wire as well. So, you know, just round it out that way. And yeah, and you can run, actually, what's interesting, because I probably won't end up replacing my distributor, because I've asked opinions and read around too, and apparently the Ford Duraspark 2 distributors were actually the best distributor out there, and still is to this day the best distributor for a 200 inland 6. So my stock distributor is better than an MSD distributor for my car. Anyways, Joseph, definitely appreciate you coming around. Chat to you later. Hope you have a fantastic evening. Bye. And oh, absolutely, like, and that's why I want to do it. To be honest, it'll be fantastic. Cause yeah, for reference, like the coil that I got is a Super SL coil, and it goes to 42,000 volts. My stock coil I think is 25,000 volts. Now probably missing a few of those because well, it's the original coil from '81, so you know, and the coil still works just fine, but you know, it's just getting everything better, right? Modernizing it a little bit. Crane Fireball $6,000. Nice, very nice. See, I would have went like, but the thing is, I was thinking of going to a MSD coil, but it wasn't worth it. Because you look, okay, yes, is it better than the Super SL? Yes, but is it that much better to warrant an extra $40? Actually, $40 US on top of the 63 bucks Canadian I paid for mine? Absolutely not. Oh, there you go. Yeah, see that's the way to do it, definitely. And what I'm learning is just like my little inline six, those in particular had just the best of the best for stuff at the time. You know, you had the awesome distributor in them. You know, you had the ignition box, which was great too. You had the electronic ignition, everything was great. And people actually covet those parts. They want those parts for their early Mustangs, their first gens, right? Because not everybody can afford the upgrades for to go everything like MSD and stuff like that. So I could actually resell some of my stuff if I wanted to, like the stock ignition box. I could probably sell, which a friend of mine actually has an MSD box. It just scratched to crap because it's been in derby cars, but it works just fine apparently. That I could throw in my car. So, and I might end up doing that and then getting new wires and probably replacing like the starter wire because you should do that when you do the ignition box. Um, and yeah. Just want to check something really quick. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Ah. Oh, okay. Cool. Which, wait, does 300 distributor fit in your little 2.9? Oh, wait, no, you did yours too. Yeah, no, you. Yeah, yeah, yours is 2.9, right? Oh, wait, that's. Yeah, sorry. My brain is not functioning. Okay, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, sorry, but it just. It's goop in my brain at times. Like right now. Okay, yours is 2.8. Okay. I I always forget which years they did the 2.8, 2.9s, but I know the earlier ones had, I believe, the 2.9, or no, later ones had 2.9. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't know. Really, those motors only came in the Bronco and the Ranger, anyways, like Bronco 2. So, and it's not like I've had that much of an interest in those vehicles. Don't get me wrong. I like an early Ranger. I think they're cool, but I haven't really researched them or anything like that. I just know a little bit about them, but not much. Okay, 2.9 was inject. I see. I did know 2.9 was injected, um, and 2.8 had a carb. Okay, cool. Well, you know, and it's interesting because like my knowledge comes from just honestly researching the crap out of stuff. Like when I find stuff that I like, I research it. and research it a lot typically. But and most people are like so surprised about that, just like that I know so much. It's like, well, that's also from over a decade of researching. Plus, the internet's helped with that too, and watching a bunch of car shows on TV helps with that too. So yeah, and I'm learning stuff all the time still. And yeah, and my brain sometimes, like, even in that moment, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff I do know, right? It's kind of interesting. And there's no rhyme or reason to my stuff, but yeah. Now, why did you overbore it to 60,000? Because for me, everything I've heard with a 60,000 overbore, it's like you're asking to break your motor at that point. Oh, it was that war. Oh, ouch. Ouch. That's bad. Probably. If it was that wore out that you had to go to 60 thou, I would say it was. And it was probably bored to 40 thou. Because usually you can get away if it's 30 thou but without a ton of wear. You should be able to go to 50, right? But mind you, I don't even know if they make 50 thou over 50 thou pistons. And he had to do new crank too. Ouch. See, that's so weird to me. Like, yes, okay, I know crankshafts wear out, but to actually have to replace it, just unless you're making like a stroker motor. Said it was 40 over. Okay, see that makes sense. To be honest, that does make sense. Because if it was 30 over, you should have been able to go 50, right? But if they make the pistons for that. Ah, that's fair. Spun rod bearing. Yeah, I'll do it. So that's a nice part about my motor is that I haven't had to worry about any of that. And like my car sat forever. It sat for at least 10 years. It probably sat for longer than that, but that's just what I was told when I bought it. And it was needed a lot, but still. Ouch. See, I've never been in that situation. Like getting a motor running and then it immediately knocking. Don't get me wrong, I've had a knocking engine. Lilo had a knocking motor after a while. Because when I got it, it was still good. And I don't know. I do kick myself. Because I could have. Because I had a 3.8 that was lying around. That now it was out of an Aerostar. But I could have taken all of the internals out of that motor. Everything. And even the heads too. I could have took that. I didn't have an intake, so fortunately I could have used my stock intake on my car. And, and I could have just put all the internals into my motor. I could have pulled my motor, did that, have a great running car with a rebuilt motor that cost me $0. Now, I probably would have had to buy new bolts and shit like that, and of course, seals and whatnot, but still, right? Basic cost may have been $100 when it was all said and done. But I didn't end up doing that. And I should have. But, oh well. It is what it is, right? We all have those kind of regrets that, and, kind of the ones that got away type idea. Because that one was, to a certain extent. I should have kept that car because it was such a honey of a car. Because other than the motor, it was fantastic. But, oh well. I'll get another one someday. Like, and I had a guy, Bronco team. Like, I had a guy today message me of It's either an 83 or 84 convertible Mustang. It's burgundy with a black top, but it does need rear glass, I think, because for the top. Because I was looking at it going, there's a tarp over top of that. So, most likely that the roof needs to be swapped out. Or the glass needs to be changed in the back. But, you know, I told him, like, I appreciate it, but I can't afford anything right now. I'm broke. So, you know, like, unless the guy wants, like, $300 for the car and it runs, then I'd figure out how to get the money together to do that. And yeah, and to be honest, the top on Lilo leaked too. Oh, convertibles are fantastic in Canada. They're fantastic. I promise you. Driving a convertible in the winter is fun. Because I did it. And I loved it. And to be honest, has fantastic traction. Because all that extra weight is on the back wheels, right? So it just plowed through everything. To be honest, that car did have some rust, but it wasn't that bad. Mind you, I was the only one that drove it in the wintertime. So there's that. To my knowledge, the original owner could have potentially drove it in the wintertime. I know the second owner never did. And the second owner never drove it with the top down, which just blows my mind. So you have a convertible. Put the top down. But what's funny, he owned it for 5 years, I think it was. And he only put on, I think it was like 2,000 kilometers on the car. I owned it for, I think it was 6 months. And I put on about 6,000 kilometers on the car. And most of that was in the wintertime. It really is. Like, I did a celebration video when I hit... What was that? 500 subscribers, I think it was? Maybe it was 750. And I was in... Oh, no, I think it may have been 300, actually. I can't remember where I was at for subscribers. But anyways, it doesn't matter. There's a celebration video on here. And I was doing donuts in the snow. Which is so much fun. It is so much fun to do. And the looks you get when having a top down in a convertible in the winter is priceless. And yes, I do a lot of driving. You know, I love driving, to be honest. It's just, I really do enjoy it. But, you know, I've been doing more driving lately. Like this summer especially. But having my car, you know, up and going more, and, you know, being able to go to shows and having more money and stuff really did help with that too. Because now sales have slowed down. I have like zero. I could sell a couple of things for cheap, but, and I might end up doing that, but I don't know. I try and hold out. Yeah, Uber when I live in Sundry and own a Mustang. I could Uber the Lumina because I still own the Lumina. Yeah, that wouldn't work out very well. There are 2 cab companies though here in Sundry, but 1,200 miles, which that's gonna equal to what, 1,700 kilometers, give or take. Yeah, that's not a lot. Like with me, because let's say, okay, I bought my car. Let's do the math on this. Hang on. Give me my calculator on my computer. 27. Because I can't really do the math in my head right now. Because I have a headache and my brain's not functioning as well as good. Oh, come on. I typed it in wrong. Come on. Okay, pop back up, please. On this stupid computer. Hello. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's open up. Because I know exactly the mileage that my car had when I bought it. Okay, get rid of that. Go to calculator. Oh, neighbor's kid just got home, by the sounds of it. Which is funny, because people complain about my car being loud, but his has a glass pack on it. Come on. And yet mine just has thrust turbos, which are not a loud muffler by any stretch of the imagination. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's a lot. There we go. Calculator. Yes. Let's bring this in front of me so it's a little easier to do this. No, I don't wish to start downloading the update right now. Thank you. So okay, it was 104.5. Wait, no, I did this wrong. Because I'm just about to hit 122,000 kilometers on my car now. So, and then minus 104,500. Yeah, so in the 2 years I've owned my car, bear in mind, like, bear in mind with that, though, is I've only been driving my car since February 14th of 2020. So bear that in mind with this. But when I bought my car, it had 104,000 kilometers on it. I have 122 on it now, which is 17,500 kilometers. But the bulk of that, because I really didn't do much driving at all when it wasn't registered. There was a little bit, but hardly any, to be honest. It was mostly just like getting around to shops and stuff like that. May have put on 200 kilometers total of that. So, yeah. And not all of that was me, technically. My dad did borrow my car for about a month. Because his car was having issues and we didn't know exactly what it was. Turns out it was totally fine. But, yeah, and then he just borrowed my car, which is kind of ironic that, you know, my old Mustang was the nice, reliable car and his modern car wasn't at the time. And then, you know, and now it's my car just, it's not necessarily breaking, but it's like, you know, it's having more issues because I'm fixing more stuff and, you know, that way. Because if I left it alone in the first place, it probably would have been fine. Oh, it's fine. To be honest, my car will be the... It'll outlive his Magnum, that's for sure. I don't know. I couldn't see him owning that super long term. Like, don't get me wrong, he loves his Magnums. This is his second one, but I don't know. Just because this one isn't, like, it is nice, but it's not that nice. Like, he bought it with really low mileage on it. That was the selling point, but it has a bunch of hail damage on it. The hatch now has a big dent in it, you know. Maybe in the wintertime. Or in the summertime, I should say. You have a wooden steering wheel so you can knock the wood? Nice. Yeah, see, I don't have a wooden steering wheel. My steering wheel's plastic. But it's fine. Or I guess plastic overlaid on metal, technically. But... yeah, like, my dad will drive the Civic a little bit, but to be honest, I couldn't see him driving it a lot. Like, I will probably end up driving that car more than him. That's just about a guarantee, actually. Because, you know, he will enjoy driving it a little bit, but he will get to the point, too, of even just getting in and out of the thing is going to be a little more difficult for him. Because, you know, like, my car doesn't sit that low. But he has a hard time getting in and out of my car. And I have an 81 Mustang, right? The Civic sits lower than my Mustang. Oh, it will be. And with the 4-speed manual, I mean, it won't be bad on the highway either. Like, and the thing is, I will be more inclined with the Civic to bring it on road trips compared to my Mustang, even though my Mustang will probably be more comfortable. But it's the fuel mileage the Civic's gonna get. Because yeah, and I love that stick, and that stick feels amazing, and the clutch feels good too. So like, I wondered because it's so weird of why this thing was parked back in '95. I don't get it because everything that I've seen with it so far has been great. Of course, we will replace the timing belt. That's a given. That's probably the original timing belt in that car, so it's ticking time bomb, and that is an interference motor, so you know not gonna take our chances. To be honest, it's actually really easy to replace a timing belt in one of those that I found. It's literally like 6 bolts. The cover comes off, and it's really easy access too. There's nothing in the way. Hey, Straight Fox, how's it hanging? Definitely appreciate you coming to the live stream. Oh, for sure. Yeah, those little 1200s, you look at them, and yeah, there's not much to them, and it's kind of nice. The CVCC is a lot more complicated, but luckily the 1200 isn't. But like talking with my friend, because she thought, like reading up on it, that little 1200 is basically a motorcycle engine when it's not. It's nowhere near. Because I told her like the ideas that we had if the motor was screwed, because we didn't know at the time, when we bought the car, if the motor was going to be good or not. Is we had the idea of like, well, can we maybe put like a Honda Goldwing motor in there? But then we realized that even if we try to do that, they have an integral transmission to the motor, so that wouldn't work out. And we had other ideas, like a CBR 1000 or something like that swap, and it would be really cool. But we're just gonna keep the 1200 because it works. It's great. At the time, before my car got changed out and everything, it ran better than my car, even though we only ran it for like about a minute consecutively. It just kept feeding the car gas, right? But yeah, and yeah, I'll drive by the shop tomorrow and see, hey, is the Civic in there yet? Is Papa Smurf in the shop? Which probably not, to be honest. Like, honestly, if it's there for a couple more weeks, probably gonna try and farm it out elsewhere, because I'm getting sick of this, of it just sitting there. Outside of his shop. If it was inside of his shop, fine, but it's outside of his shop. And that is going to seal the Oilers' winning streak now, because they're about to lose to Philly. Yeah, but Jesse, trust me when I say this, I know the guy. I know the guy personally. Good guy and everything. But, because he said to bring the Civic to the shop whenever, so we did. That's why. And like we did tell him, yeah, it's not. We understand it's probably gonna be more of a longer term project, and that's fine. We get that, but. Oh, that's offside. Oh, so Oilers might still be in this game. I'm was watching this game because I knew it was going to be a good game, and it has been a fantastic game. But yeah. And you know, like I just wish that I had somebody around here that would actually be willing to work on the car with me. Did Hyman score? I don't think Hyman did score tonight. Mind you, I didn't watch the full game of the Toronto game. I watched the bulk of it, but you know, and they finally, you know, they finally broke that curse. I was gonna say, I mean, I do know some Canadians that don't. And I was gonna say, yeah, he's not Canadian; he's American. And it was offside. Wait, that wasn't offside. I thought he said it was offside. Ooh, that's. I don't believe that. Detroit, is my guess. Since Detroit is like right there, right at the border, just about. Because I know like you cross a bridge and you're basically in Canada from Detroit. Oh, Oh, okay. You know, at one point we may have been within about 2 hours of each other. Jesse, that's funny because I lived in Lethbridge, Alberta for the bulk of my life. Lethbridge is only about an hour from the border. So effectively we were just over an hour from the border from each other. Depending on when you moved. Because I lived there a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago. I mean, I lived there, excluding the last 4 years, I lived in Lethbridge. And there was 3 years in Calgary, too. But yeah, well, and Philadelphia won. You lived in Eureka? That's funny. I've heard of that town. To be honest, I wouldn't be shocked anymore. My family's so freaking large that I have no idea who I'm related to anymore. Like, seriously. Because there's the Lloyd side of my family, which that's the main part, that is very big, honestly. Very big. But then you look at the Albers side of the family, and it's way bigger. It's like double, if not triple the size. It's brutal. Ah, okay. Yeah, so we were about an hour away from each other, essentially, for quite a number of years then. I don't know where Paul DeFox lives. I want to say he's east. Because I don't think he's here in... No, he's not in Alberta. I'm pretty sure he's in Ontario. Which, Ontario is like the other side of the country. To be honest, most Canadians live in Ontario because they have the bulk of the population over there. There's nothing on TV. That blows. Even though I'm. Oh yeah, it's awesome. And he actually released a video today of how to roll your fenders on a Fox body. So it's like, hey, that's cool. I'll check that out later, but it's a nice car. Because and eventually, whenever they do their their live streams and they open it up to people being on there, I will be on their live stream eventually. But who knows? That could be next week. That could be years. Hard to say. I don't believe so. I couldn't see that being their actual lame. Like, honestly, all their cars are nice. So. Already? Cool. I was gonna say, I've only been involved with Paul's channel for not very long, to be honest. Um, and I've loved CRXs for a long time. I wanted one when I was young, and it's too bad that I couldn't afford a CRX when I was young because they've just gone stupid now. Because when I was, growing up, you could pick up a CRX for like $500. Nobody cared, and now it's like CRXs can be $10,000+. Well, I appreciate that because and to be honest, like if when people say like my car is their favorite out of like YouTubers, that does like blow my mind because just like my car, well, it's cool. It doesn't look like much. Um, and yeah, and oh yeah, and definitely most things have gone up. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many vehicles that you think that like, and even Fox bodies, for example. You used to be able to get Fox bodies for nothing because nobody cared, and then now they've gone up too. And Lincoln Mark Fives as well. Used to be such an undesirable car you couldn't give them away, pretty much. And now they go as high as about 30 grand at auction. It's like, what? How does that happen when a car that like literally nobody cared about goes up that much? Chevettes, actually, if you get a clean Chevette, they are worth a decent amount. But yeah, they're not exactly expensive though. And what's funny actually, that you mentioned Chevettes. Roy Marco has a Chevette. I forget. Upside down, kitty. Aye. His Chevette is a diesel though, which is pretty neat. And I have a video idea planned. They might. I don't know. I could see them going up in value, to be honest. Just like how the Dodge Omni went up in value and stuff, because Dodge Omnis forever were worth nothing, and actually now, if you find an Omni that's actually fairly clean, you can get up to about $4 or $5 for it. And a Chevette is comparable to an Omni, probably a better car in the end. But the thing is, I have a video idea planned. Is yeah. Okay, bye kitties. I lost both my kitties, but that's okay. I get a nice Playboy blankie. I love this blanket. But the thing is, the video that I have planned, and it's gonna be when the Civic's on the road, and probably when there's no snow on the ground. So this will be next year. But I have a video planned with Roy, or at least with Roy's car, if he still has it by then. Because he's got the Chevette diesel. And what I want to do is I want to do a comparison between the two cars. And honestly, like, see, okay, what did Honda do at the time? What did Chevrolet think of? That sort of thing. And go from there, right? And just see, quality-wise, what's the difference between the two? How they set up the motors, etc., right? And I'd love to compare the Civic actually to other contemporary compacts of the time. It'd be great. And it'd be kind of a cool series to do, right? See, can anything compare to the Civic, right? And how do they compare to the Civic is another thing. And basically, like, have the cap off at, like, 1984, because it's within the same era, but, like, even, honestly, after 79 for the Civics, they went to the new generation, 1980, so... Which I actually did see a really clean second-gen Civic yesterday, like, very clean, customized. It was all orange, including orange bumpers and stuff. It was up in Edmonton, actually. I didn't get a picture of it because I was driving, but... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Civic is... I know it's a smaller car than a Chevette. But it's still comparable because they were in the same segment as each other. They were both compacts. So, they were both vying for the same buyer of who's going to buy what. See, I haven't seen a Mark 1 in a long time. I've seen Mark 2s more. But Mark 1s don't come up. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, and that's a video series I could see because it's so different that way that it could potentially take off. So, and that's always the hope, right? You do a video and it just, it goes viral. Not that I think it's going to go viral or anything like that, but, get a lot more traction that way. But me saying that, it's probably going to be like, hey, this is a video that's going to tank. Because what's stupid? Like, something that's really stupid. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Is okay. When I toured Roy Marco's collection, there's a full series of, I shouldn't say series. There is a video of his entire collection of cars. He has a Hudson Hornet. He has a Chevrolet C50. He has a 54 Pontiac. He has a Nash Metropolitan, 67 Chevelle. A 55 Pontiac Gasser. The video has 164 views. Like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And to be honest, I'd love to find a Yugo to compare to it too. To see how cheap meets cheap. If I could find one that's running, yeah. Because at least Yugos, oddly enough, you can find Yugos running just because there is more of a collector's market compared to the Ladas are. But Lada didn't really make a proper compact, though. Yeah, see, that's the only Lada you see though. Is the Lada Niva is the only one you still see nowadays. You will never ever see a Riva on the road, which a Riva is essentially a Fiat 124 sedan underneath. This made even cheaper than the Fiat 124, so that goes to show you how bad they are. And and it's funny. When you run when you drive a Lada Niva, and this is just because this is what I've heard, and honestly, my dad's friend almost bought one new back in the day. When you drive it, or at least run it sounds like a tractor. Like a diesel tractor, but it's not. It's gasoline. And they're just a rugged, dependable car, but they're also it's weird. They're very rugged, but they're also very unreliable. So, although weirdly they won rallies with that car, I don't understand how it survived, but it did. And a Niva would be cool. And by the way, every single Niva was 4x4, so. That's not true. I was gonna say, you can get, as long as it was sold over here, any insurance company will take it. Doesn't matter. I've never come across any issues with trying to insure an old car. Not one bit. Well, oh yeah, I guess, I was gonna say, is it the insurance companies over there, is it privatized like it is here in Alberta, or is it not? Because I'm not sure actually on that. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Of 7 companies, it's a freaking '88 Civic, for God's sakes. Like, come on. They made millions of them. That's outrageous. And I mean, the Bronco 2 rollover thing, that doesn't shock me, to be honest, that it is higher because of that. For rates. Like my Mustang, it doesn't cost me much at all. It's only like $50 a month. See, they don't give a crap about that with my car. Even though my Mustang does not hold up to modern safety standards either. That just must be a thing with Ontario, I guess. Because here in Alberta, they don't care. You could, if you wanted to, you could insure a Model A with somebody. They don't care. You're not wrong. But also here, too. Okay, by law, you don't need to get an inspection before you get your car registered. However, insurance companies can ask for it. So, there's that. The only time you need an inspection is if the car has not been registered in your province, in Alberta. Because out of province is a freaking stupid thing. It's such a scam, and realistically, it's just a cash grab. That's all it is. My Mustang needed out of province, and it was stupid. And for them to make up this whole out of province thing, like, give me a break. It's just a cash grab. Just like a GDL license is a cash grab too. Because back in the day when you got your license, you got your license. Now they're just like, oh no, we want you to drive for at least 1 year, and then you can go get your license again. It's like, screw off. Yeah, they don't care about that here in Alberta. You drive a Classic, it's actually going to be cheaper on insurance and like, for example, my Mustang is cheaper on insurance than my dad's Magnum. And we have the same coverage. So. like here, if you want to get a new car, it's gonna cost you way more in insurance. Uh, but yeah, I'm just not. Yes, they are, but they're also much more expensive to repair than an old car is. You get into a crash with my car, you could rebuild it for probably about $5,000. You know, with paint matching and everything like that. Like a bad crash with my car. But modern cars, you can't fix that easily. You know, like what's so stupid? Take a Lotus Elise for an example. If you get a a crack in the front bumper, it actually totals the car. If you try and put it through insurance, it totals the car because they have to replace like a lot of the front end to be able to do that. It's so stupid, and it's a piece of freaking plastic. You know, it's just outrageous. Like here in, well, it depends on the insurance company. Um, Wawanisa is who I'm through, and for their insurance to write off a vehicle, if the repairs are 60% or like if it's 60%, um, it'll write off the car for like the value of it. So let's just say my Mustang, they put a value, like they wouldn't value my Mustang at hardly anything, too, which is kind of sad. You know, like once it's done and painted, yeah, they will value it higher. And like what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna paint my car myself. Actually, I think. Um, the only thing is I gotta figure out how to pull those dents in it. But basically, I am gonna rattle can it, but I'm gonna rattle can it nice. So, because it was brutal. Cause I don't like my dad's Magnum. When he finally wrote that off, it took actually a lot to finally write that car off because it needed to be repaired multiple times. Fair. I know where it's old school. Definitely appreciate you coming to the live stream. Good night. Hope you have a wonderful sleep. They paid out 10K. That's not bad. I'm losing all my viewership. Sad. Appreciate you sticking around though. It's like, yeah, at one point I saw there was 8 viewers in here, and now we're down to 1. Yeah, I'm probably actually gonna end it here to be honest, because I appreciate you sticking around though. It's just, yeah, you're the only viewer now. and I don't see anybody coming in anytime soon. But yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but oh well. Good night, Jesse. Hope you have a fantastic evening, a wonderful day tomorrow, and yeah. Chat to you later. Bye. Pikachu. Ah, that was a terrible Pikachu.